A massive pileup involving nearly 50 cars and trucks unfolded on I-70 near the Illinois border on Saturday, November 29th, after blinding snowfall and dangerously low visibility swept across the region. Several injuries were reported in the chain reaction crash, though authorities have not confirmed any fatalities. Emergency crews worked for hours in freezing whiteout conditions to clear lanes and assist stranded drivers. By late afternoon, parts of the highway had been partially reopened, but state officials continued urging residents to avoid all non-essential travel as the powerful winter storm intensifies. At the same time, the brutal weather created a surreal backdrop for one of the most unique college football moments of the decade. Today's Illinois versus Northwestern matchup is being described as one of the most epic snow games in college football history, according to MLFootball. Heavy snow is blanketing the field at Memorial Stadium, transforming the Big Ten rivalry into what fans are already calling the Illinois Northwestern Snow Bowl. Meanwhile, just a few hours away, Chicago O'Hare International Airport is facing a full-scale operational crisis. The same storm system hammering Illinois has nearly paralyzed one of the busiest airports in the United States. Runways are coated in ice and heavy snow. Rows of aircraft sit motionless under thick white drifts, and icing crews are unable to keep up as conditions deteriorate. Hundreds of flights have been delayed or canceled, with passengers stranded overnight inside terminals as visibility drops to near zero. Airport officials warn that disruptions could continue well into Sunday as the blizzard maintains its strength. A powerful and sprawling winter storm system, now widely referred to as Winter Storm Bellamy, is tightening its grip on the American Midwest, turning the region into a vast landscape of swirling snow, dangerous roads, and unprecedented travel disruption in the immediate aftermath of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. What should have been one of the busiest but most routine travel days of the year has instead transformed into a logistical nightmare for millions trying to return home, continue holiday plans, or simply resume everyday life after the long holiday break. From the western plains of Iowa and South Dakota to the dense metropolitan belts of Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, communities have been struck with a sudden and intense stream of Arctic air, pushing across the central United States and colliding with lingering moisture from the south. The result is a winter storm that meteorologists say is unusually strong for so early in the season, a storm combining heavy snow, powerful wind gusts, plunging temperatures, and rapidly deteriorating travel conditions across several states simultaneously. Throughout the morning and into the afternoon, steady bands of snow intensified, stretching in wide arcs across Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Michigan. What began as light flakes in the pre-dawn hours quickly developed into thick, wind-driven curtains of snow with rates exceeding 1 inch per hour in several regions. The cold air pouring in from the north has ensured that nearly all precipitation is falling as dry, powdery snow, the kind that blows and drifts easily, creating sudden drops in visibility that leave drivers disoriented and scrambling for control. On interstates leading into Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Indianapolis, and Detroit, motorists have reported abrupt transitions from manageable visibility to near whiteout conditions in a matter of seconds. Snow-covered lanes, thick slush, and drifting snow have resulted in spin-outs, lengthy delays, and closures in several stretches. In Indiana, one major incident involving more than 40 vehicles prompted temporary highway shutdowns as emergency crews struggled to reach the scene through the storm. Meteorologists from the National Weather Service offices in the central U.S. issued winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories across broad sections of the Midwest as early as Saturday morning. These alerts expanded throughout the afternoon as snowfall rates intensified and wind gusts consistently reached between 25 and 35 miles per hour, high enough to kick up blue snow and create dangerous travel corridors throughout the region. Forecasters noted that visibility at times dropped below 1 mile, and in exposed rural areas visibility occasionally fell to near zero. By midday, snowfall totals were already significant across multiple states. Portions of Iowa, including areas around Des Moines, Almas, Waterloo, and Marshalltown, saw 7 to 13 inches accumulate, with some localized pockets approaching a full foot of snow. In Illinois, northern and central counties were blanketed with 6 to 12 inches. while neighborhoods west of Chicago encountered even higher amounts due to persistent lake-enhanced snow bands drifting inland from Lake Michigan. Cities such as Peoria, Bloomington Normal, and Springfield in central Illinois recorded between 6 and 9 inches, and numerous smaller towns in the region reported between 4.5 and 8.5 inches. Snow-packed roads quickly became hazardous, especially on rural highways where snowplows were struggling to keep pace with the rate of accumulation. Even in major metropolitan areas, plows focused on keeping primary roads open, leaving residential streets, side roads, and industrial corridors slick, uneven, and difficult to navigate. The National Weather Service office in Chicago shared images early in the afternoon showing miles of roads covered in snow, from urban freeways to suburban expressways. Snowplow fleets were deployed across the region, but with snow falling faster than crews could clear it, many primary roads remained slushy and treacherous. Forecasters stressed the importance of reducing speed, maintaining extended stopping distances, and keeping a wide berth around plow vehicles as the storm crawled toward its peak intensity between noon and early evening. Air travel has been equally impacted, and perhaps nowhere more dramatically than in Chicago, home to O'Hare International Airport, one of the busiest hubs in the nation. By mid-afternoon, more than 900 flights at O'Hare had been canceled, with hundreds more delayed as ground operations slowed to a crawl. Dicing crews rushed to service outgoing planes while snow removal teams attempted to keep runways open long enough for limited departures to occur between intense waves of precipitation. Large portions of the airport's taxiways and aprons were coated with packed snow and thin ice, prompting repeated ground stops and cascading delays across the national flight network. Travelers at O'Hare waited for hours in long lines at ticket counters, customer service centers, and security checkpoints, many clutching printed papers with rebooking instructions or scrolling endlessly through flight tracking apps that updated with new delays every few minutes. Families returning from Thanksgiving gatherings found themselves stuck in terminals, watching snow pile up on jet bridges and runway lights outside the airport windows. The ripple effect spread nationwide. Airports in Denver, Detroit, Minneapolis, St. Louis, and Cleveland reported widespread delays as airlines adjusted to the bottleneck caused by Chicago's operational slowdown. With O'Hare serving as a major connecting hub for both domestic and international flights, the disruption quickly became systemic, affecting travelers thousands of miles away from the storm's path. Meanwhile, in Iowa, Missouri, and Wisconsin, the snow continued through the afternoon with increasing intensity. Social media posts from Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, and Davenport showed residential streets submerged under thick blankets of snow, turning neighborhoods into quiet, frozen landscapes just hours after the storm began. Drivers shared on-the-ground footage of treacherous conditions, windshields coated in swirling snow, brake lights glowing in long lines of stopped traffic, and emergency vehicles navigating slippery roads to respond to stranded motorists. As the storm advanced eastward into the evening hours, it began affecting parts of Michigan's lower peninsula. Communities near Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, and Lansing saw snowfall rates increase, while Detroit braced for accumulations heading into the night. Lake-enhanced bands near Lake Michigan pushed heavy snow inland, raising the potential for isolated totals exceeding 1 foot in areas close to the shoreline. Further south, in Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri, the snow showed no signs of slowing. The storm's cold front interacting with slightly warmer air aloft created brief periods of mixed precipitation in isolated locations, including pockets of freezing drizzle that added a thin glaze atop the existing snowpack. This combination made untreated roads even more slippery and complicated the work of road crews attempting to salt, plow, and maintain safe conditions for essential travel. Throughout the region, state transportation departments issued multiple advisories urging residents to avoid travel unless absolutely necessary. Motorists were warned about sudden drops in visibility, icy patches beneath newly fallen snow, drifting snow on open stretches of roads, and snowpacks that had lane markings and guardrails. In many rural communities, high winds piled snow into deep drifts along fence lines, driveways, and side roads, creating conditions where even large vehicles risked becoming stuck. The storm's reach also extended into public infrastructure and utilities. Heavy snow accumulating on overhead lines and tree branches raised concerns about potential power outages, particularly in regions with dense tree coverage or aging electrical systems. While widespread outages had not yet occurred by mid-afternoon, emergency management officials acknowledged that risk levels would increase as the storm continued into the night, especially if winds intensified or if the snow became wetter and heavier in certain areas. Businesses across the Midwest faced an abrupt slowdown. Shopping centers, many of which expected strong post-Thanksgiving crowds, saw significantly reduced foot traffic as customers opted to stay home. Restaurants and small businesses reported cancellations from staff who could not safely commute. Public events, including holiday markets, local sports games, and outdoor celebrations, were postponed or canceled outright. For many communities, the timing of this storm, arriving during one of the busiest retail weekends of the year, brought both economic and logistical challenges. Even for those staying indoors, the storm presented difficulties. Residents in Iowa and Illinois spent the day shoveling heavy snow